Hey everyone, welcome back to the Music Corner episode 3, presented by Access Ballymun and hosted by myself, Ger Kellett. I just want to give a shout out to our guest last week on episode 2, which was Zainab, so make sure you go check out our brand new single Forever, which is streaming everywhere now. And our guest now this week in episode 3 is going to be Flynn Johnson, who's a hip hop and rap artist from Blanchardstown in Dublin. I've worked with Flynn in the studio on tracks before, I've booked him for gigs. He's just an all round creative mind and hard working guy, so we're going to get into the interview right now. First of all, man, thanks for being here. Music Corner episode 3. Much appreciate you taking the time.
Man, thank you.
No worries, man, no worries. What I wanted to do was to kind of bring it back to your memory, the first single or the first piece of music that you released to the world as Flynn Johnson, because I know that you had kind of different names. You went under different titles in the past. Like you had EJ was one of them when you were with Ace. But so focusing on Flynn Johnson, the first kind of single and what you put out to the world as Flynn Johnson, if you can talk us through that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. First of all, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. The first single as Flynn Johnson. See, when I was in the group with Ace, the thing was, after I came out of that, I was like, I want to kind of reinvent my whole sound, because what we were doing at the time was just that rugged, raw, over dusty beats, rap. You know what I mean? And I knew, and me and Rocky had a conversation after it, where a bit of rock, like after I came out of that, we had a conversation where it was like he kind of seeing in me that like that there's more to the writing when it comes to it. It's not just like he had said to me, he's like, look, you can't just rap. You know what I mean? It's like you have other things in you. Like, so with that, we played around with some beats. Rocky was kind enough to stick by my side throughout the whole thing. And I'm forever grateful for him for that. Like, just to let you know, his name is probably going to come up about 300 times in this interview.
Yeah, don't worry, man. I have a point here, I know, just to talk about your kind of relationship with Better Rock, so we'll get into that a little bit more in depth.
Yes. I'll save that for then. But yeah, no, as Flynn Johnson, sorry, this is a bit long-winded, but as Flynn Johnson, I wanted to reinvent myself. And we him and hard with the whole thing for about, I think it was about 2 or 3 months, and then he had sent me a pack of beats where he's like, look, I think this is what you should be doing. And we had already had conversations about this is what we're trying to achieve with the sound. And and then Feel Alright came out of that. Feel Alright was a pop positive peace and love track that we just wanted to put out to the world. And like with that, we went with the single release. Any singles that were bought, we donated the proceeds to like mental health charities all across the country. So
nice.
That was the first one. The first release was Feel Alright, and that was kind of down a direction of like it got serious traction. I was one of MTV's artists to watch that year. I got a whole spread on Hot Press. I did like the RT2 Tube thing. I had an interview with FM104, and off the back of that single alone, I got to open up for the original Real Boys, like a solo show in the Academy. So
nice, man. And that was circa 2015, if I'm right.
Yeah, it was 2015. Decided to reinvent and release Feel Alright, and then I started the whole journey, I suppose.
And then so Feel Alright was part of an EP that you brought out around 2015, 2016. In the meantime, if that's right, yeah.
Yeah. In the meantime, the whole concept behind that was just like we were just recording, and they seemed to be the 5 strongest tracks, and they were along the same vibe as each other. And with the In the Meantime EP, it's exactly what the concept of it was. What it said in the tin, like, listen, I'm reinventing myself. Something we will get there, but in the meantime, listen to these 5 tracks. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there was a couple of bangers on that as well, and they were along that positive, uplifting vibe as well.
And how was that received then? Because that was the first full project as Flynn Johnson, as you knew, recreating yourself and finding out your new sound. So how was that received by like critics and fans? Were you happy with the reception, or?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely. It was, as I said to you, all the stuff that came with the release of Feel Alright was kind of more motivation than anything else. You know what I mean? When all this stuff was happening, where outlets like magazines and television are getting onto you to just off the back of one song. So
Yeah.
then when I put the EP out, I put it out for free on Bandcamp, and there was people buying it. You know what I mean? Like I was living off that. I was jobless. So all I was doing was making music, and I was living off that EP for about 3 months. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. There was people buying it, even though it was up for free. Like, so it was just, yeah, the response was great, man. It was great.
Yeah, you can't ask for more than that, really, man. And then the next big single that I have noted down was Man Cub, which was 2019. So between like Feel Alright is 2015 and Man Cub is 2019. So for that's like 4 or 5 years. So what were you doing during those years? Were you still developing the sound, or so talk us through that kind of process before getting to Man Cub and releasing another single that was well received by everyone?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So the whole, we put the In the Meantime EP out, and the next step was album. Was to work on an album. And just with myself, I was like, look, I like this little vibe that we're on right now, but I think I have a lot more in me. I don't think it's necessarily, not to say that I sold out. Like those tunes, man, they I had fun making them, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
you know yourself, because obviously we have a personal relationship, but you know yourself, I'm more of I love to be the intricate, like conscious type of writer, you know what I mean? I think that's where I flourish best, you know what I mean? So throughout those 4 years, and it's hard to believe, but throughout those 4 years, man, I was working on an album that is probably never going to see the light of day, you know what I mean?
Why is that? Why do you think it won't ever come out?
Look, I think it will come out at some stage. I think it's going to be, and I only had this conversation with Rocky the other day. I was like, I think it's going to be my last album. So like if I announce that self-titled is coming, then it's probably going to be like my last album, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the last album, I think it's going to be last album, and it has, I don't know, with songs that are left in the dust and songs that are left on the hard drive, they age like milk, like, you know what I mean? They get sour, like, you know what I mean? And they're of its time, and like, oh, you could tell that was made back in, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of songs on this, man, that I've listened to. I started recording them. There's a song I actually recorded in 2016 after the In the Meantime EP, and I listened to it the other day, and that still stands the test of time today, which is something, you know what I mean? So yeah, just to answer it, the 4 years, man, the 4 years were just me trying to figure out who I was. And at the same time, man, I was only 18, 19 putting that stuff out. So like there's a lot of growth, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's actually true. There's a lot of growth from the ages of 19 to 23, 24, 25. You know what I mean? There's a lot of growing up to be doing. So there was a lot of things that, like, subject matters that never even came about until last year in my life. You know what I mean? That we wanted to speak about and wanted to touch on. So
yeah, because
those 4 years.
You need to live life to actually be able to sit down and write about it and perform about it and reflect on it. So I understand that. So you had a productive 4 years, even though you weren't kind of releasing to the public. You were recording a lot, but it just, by the end of it, you weren't really happy with what it was, or maybe you had matured a little bit of a different way, but you were still remaining productive through those years. And then finding yourself, it sounds like just finding yourself as an artist even more. Yeah,
man, absolutely. And even look, forget about music for a second. I was trying to find myself as a person, you know what I mean, as well. Like personally in my own life, I felt like especially the last 4, 5, 6 years, man, they've been detrimental to me, because I feel like I found my identity, you know what I mean, almost, where before I didn't. Now, I've always been, like, when I was a kid, I always felt like a little outcast anyway, like, you know what I mean? But I mean, I never really felt like I fit in anywhere, and that never really bothered me. But just becoming a man, you know what I mean? And just going through bleeding. I don't know if you can course on this. Sorry.
Because we're after 9 o'clock.
Yeah, grand. And as I said, man, it was just me, even though to the general public, it didn't look like I was being, like, I was getting asked, like, you know yourself, you don't put on out for a while, man, you get asked, like, are you still doing music, or what's the story, you know what I mean? You're still doing the DJing. But yeah, it was a productive 4 years, man, but to the general public, it was obviously I was ghost, you know what I mean? But then leading up to Rocky was working on a beat album that he was putting out, and
this is leading up to Man Cub now, isn't it? We're going Man Cub, coming up to 2019. Yeah.
Exactly. 2019 comes around, and we have a lot of stuff in the tank there, and we're kind of just trying to figure out the lane that we want to put ourselves in. You know what I mean? But yeah, Man Cub comes around. Richie was working on a beat tape that was putting out on Spotify. A beat album, sorry. It's too good to be called a tape. You know what I mean? He's putting out this like just this body of work of collection of beats. Same thing kind of vibe that I was on. I was releasing not little singles, I was releasing little remixes or little freestyles here and there throughout those 4 years that they never really touched on or whatever. But I was just doing it for my own sake, just to put something out. And Rocky was doing the same thing. He had some of them beats, man, you wouldn't believe it. Some that came out in 2019. Some of them beats that are on that were made from him in 2013, like, which is crazy to me. Yeah. So he sent me this beat over, and he was like, "Look, I didn't want anybody on it." He said, "I just wanted to put beats out." But he said, "See what you can do to this." And it's just that sample at the start, and that's actually his voice as well, which is mad. Like that's his voice that he sampled. That sample at that.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of the Jungle Book, like, you know what I mean? That's the only way I could put it. Like, it just reminded me of the Jungle Book. Like,
was it the sample? Did the name Man Cub come before or after you heard that sample? Was that the kind of inspiration for the sample because it was like a Jungle Book kind of reference? Or?
No, I think he just named it something like I think he named it something like Pine Trees or something like that, something along those lines. Yeah. And when he sent it to me, that's all I could hear. Like, and then I was like, right, cool, let's go with this. And I think I wrote it, man. To be honest with you, I think I wrote it because there was no pressure. Because I was like, this isn't like there was no pressure from Rocky. He was like, look, if you can do something, you can do something. If you can't, you can't. You know what I mean? So I just got into me braggadocio bag, and I was just like, this is what I came up with. And then that line came about where it was like, bitch on the Man Cub with the serious rap stuff. And I was just gonna leave that in as a line, but then I was like, no, this needs to be the core of the track, like, you know what I mean? And then we got the little Mowgli sample in there and stuff, and it was a vibe.
It's a top track, man. And there's a music video to go with that one. Am I right?
Yeah, there's a music video for that, yeah.
Deadly, man. So we'll plug that. So that's that 2019 Man Cub came out, and it had been kind of the first Flynn Johnson kind of single that everybody was paying attention to nearly since Feel Alright, that it was getting that much kind of attention. So was the reaction to Man Cub just as positive as Feel Alright, or had it died down a little bit, or how was it coming back with a single like that?
Yeah, it's mad you say it, Ger, because it's like, obviously I've seen people were sending me videos of them in like nightclubs, and Man Club was playing. I was like, what is going on? You know what I mean? And like, it's mad you say it, because Rocky just put out that album, and like there was 12, something like, I think it was 10 beats on that, and people just gravitated towards, like, we didn't promote that as a single at all. Like, you know what I mean? We didn't say like, look, this is the album I'm putting out, but this is on it, and like we used that as the fourth single. We had no strategy to it at all. It was just that was solely like those organic, those listens, man. That was all organic. People just like going through the album and finding that, and then it was just like we seen the reaction, and we weren't even going to put a video out. You know what I mean? We were like, we seen the reaction, and Richie was like, "You have to do a video, bro." You know what I mean? I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, yeah." And then the video gave it another lease of life. Then, you know what I mean? So yeah, the reaction was bananas. It was crazy, like crazy.
It was, man. I remember the time. And then that leads us into 2020. You had another kind of single that done well with another video, and that was called Pray. So talk to us about Pray. Talk to us about the track, the video, how that was received, and then talk to us about your 2020. Obviously, we are through lockdown and everything. So how have you been? So talk to us about Pray, and then talk to us about how you've been keeping productive and keeping the mental health strong throughout 2020.
Pray was a thing on its own as well. I was going to put out an EP. And it was just going to be called, I was going to call it something like The Trilogy. It was some name like that anyway. Yeah. And we had a song called Mood that I performed at the Axis. We had Mood, Pray, and Chill, right? So it was like, with Pray, Rocky sent me that beat, and with Pray, it was one of them things that it was like the last like 3 weeks or something, I was like having nightmares. I'm just giving you like the process of writing of it. I was having like these nightmares of like being out with the boys, and like in the nightmares, I was like like I knew it was wrong what I was doing, but I was doing it anyway, you know, like
Yeah.
I don't smoke weed or anything like that, but in the dreams I became this like weed smoker, and I was like, I had a gun on me waist and shit, and I was like
Yeah.
mad, like, and then
Mad
at the
trippy
end of
stuff.
all these, at the end of these nightmares, like I'd say now, at the end of the nightmares, like it always resulted in me like getting shot, which is crazy, like, you know what I mean? I don't know why. It was like these recurring dreams for about 3 weeks or whatever, and then I was like, you know what, I need to write about this, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you listen to Pray, that whole angel and the devil on my shoulder, like that whole thing came from that. And
Nuts.
if you listen to it, it's almost like, if people listen to it and you listen to the verses, it's almost like throughout the whole thing, I made it a thing where I'm contradicting myself. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like the verses come in, and it's like this. It's like I give you this visual of like 5 deep in that Volkswagen, violent beeps are brought past, and the tire screeching, all black in the driver's seats for the masses. I'll find a reason, cause havoc. The pipe is peak with organic. That 93 hip hop blast, and encyclopedia for her man. Like, I'm in the past of being a screw. Flashes from each lamppost matches the beat in the sub. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just. And it was kind of like a tug of war with my own self. You know what I mean? That track was. It was almost like a tug of war with my own self.
And it is. It's one of the, if not your best single that you've put out. They've all the kind of main singles that have come out have been really strong. But Pray was there was something about it, yeah. And I think the fact that you are kind of there's a story through, as you said, it kind of inspired from the dream. And the fact that you have that contrast of the good and the bad, I think people can always kind of attach themselves to that. I think we all have those kind of weird dreams and weird
absolutely
thoughts.
So that's why the video is shot the way it is, like that blood red. Like I was saying to Richard, like we need to make this look like a dream, like a nightmare. You know what I mean? It needs to look
a horror scene
so
almost.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why, like, when you see parts of it chopped in where like it's really lagged, like, and stuff, like it's this real trippy black and white stuff, because like that's what dreams are like, man. Dreams are out there, you know what I'm saying? They can just take you anywhere, like, you know what I'm saying? So that was well received as well, man. Pray still to this day goes down a tree.
And then there's the official video for that as well. So then the rest of 2020, obviously we were locked down and things got hectic with Corona and COVID. So what did you do for 2020? How did you, never even mind Flynn Johnson, but just you yourself as a person, how did you keep your mental health strong and keep yourself together through the last year? Because it's been tough on everyone, you know?
Yeah, no, especially for me, man, and not to be the one giving a sob story or whatever, but as I said to you, these last few years have been like kind of detrimental to me as a person and as a man. Like, my fiance now, thank God, we had a bit of a run in where we weren't with each other for like 6 or 7 months, and that was tough on me. I mean, as well as tough on her. Like, and then it was the same with the lockdown. The whole lockdown thing came around, and it was just everything for me. Like, even though lockdown has been mad for other people, everything for me with lockdown has been, it's only been going up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, like it's a tough time for everybody. Don't get me wrong, especially for the arts, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, we ended up reconciling with each other or whatever, and we sorted our stuff out, and it really made me become, like, I had to look myself in the mirror at some point. And
of course,
that's what Fairy Tales is about. You know what I'm saying? That's what Fairy Tales is about, the track that I released recently.
That actually leads us nicely into it. That was my next point, was coming into 2021, Fairy Tales, which is your latest single. I know you've new stuff coming soon in 2021. But at the beginning of 2021, so Fairy Tales. I'll let you talk to us about the track. There's another official video for that as well, which I'll give you props for that, man. Kind of hitting people with videos for singles is not an easy thing to do, but you seem to be able to do it regularly. So props on that one.
Man, I appreciate that.
But so talk to us about the song itself and the concept behind that, and then the video. I'll leave it over to you.
Yeah, of course, man. Fairy Tales is kind of, it's about what I briefly spoke about just there with you. About the last year, especially, man, and last year and a half. It's kind of one of those years, man, where I've had to admit things to myself that not necessarily everybody can admit to themselves. You know what I mean? There's a lot more stuff I've had to become aware of, and man, especially with lockdown. Like, with lockdown, it was even tougher as well, because obviously, as I said, like, I was making music with Rocky over like the way we are now. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the way it was, and it's tough, man. It's tough. Like I want the shows to come back, man. Just for that vibe, you know what I mean? But yeah, with the lockdown. With the lockdown as well, we kind of got back talking or whatever, and that Fairy Tales is just a story about how I went from, like, when I was growing up, it was just me, my dad, and just women, like, and I had a huge family, like, it was just me, my dad, just women, like, you know what I mean? All my aunties are all like my sisters, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was kind of that, I wrote it from the perspective of that. I was like, right, well, I grew up to idolize all these women around me, like, but as soon as I became a teenager, I was all of a sudden one of the boys, like, you know what I mean? And it was like I was doing whatever I wanted to do, you know what I mean? Where it's like I was never taught or raised that way, you know what I mean? And to treat anybody like that, let alone women, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But especially women, I mean. So Fairy Tales is just a journey of that. It's just a journey I've had for the last few years. It's a very personal track, and I know, like, again, I shout out to Rocky Man, because if it wasn't for him, that track wouldn't have seen the light of day. That was something that I just put down just because I needed to, you know what I mean? It's, you know yourself, Jay, from creating
like
music.
Therapy in a way.
Oh man, if I didn't have it, I'd go bonkers, honestly. Like, I'd go insane.
Then just the video itself, you mentioned the song is intimate, but then the actual way the video is shot, kind of have looking at it from a film perspective. So it's you in a car, isolated in the car, you know what I mean? And vulnerable in a way. So had you much thought into the direction of the video? Was that an idea you had, or was this Rocky coming in and being like, you know, this is the way we should approach it? But the video, talk to us about the concept for the video and that process.
The concept of the video, as I said, it's very just in the one spot, a lot of different angles of me in the car. The way we wanted to shoot it was, we wanted it to almost seem like you shouldn't be hearing this conversation because it's so personal.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the phone. Sorry for people that haven't seen it. I'm on the phone in the video the whole time, leaving a voicemail. But we wanted to make it look like you shouldn't be hearing this conversation. Like you were just walking past and you're just earwigging. You know what I'm saying? Like it was one of them, like, this is too personal for you to be listening to, but you're here and listening to it. So let me hash it out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the way we wanted it to. Like, we could have made it look like a movie where when we were having that conversation in the car, that like it cuts to him, cuts to me, cuts to him, cuts to me, and it looks like a blatant television program. But we didn't want that. We wanted everything to be outside the car, like, you know what I'm saying? Because
that's the creative decision, that you guys made, which adds to the video. Because I think if you had went the way of making it overly cinematic, I don't know. I just like that kind of, like, as you were saying, the audience is almost earwigging and spying on this intimate conversation you're having with your partner, and people love to be nosy. So I think that concept definitely worked for that video. And then how was that received, man? Because that's it's another point, is that releasing songs where you're talking about your relationship, where you're talking about your feelings as a man, you're not really sometimes supposed to talk about your feelings, or we feel that way anyway. But so putting out a song like that where you're vulnerable and you're discussing intimate parts of your life, that's a tough thing to do, to put on display and release that to the world, because anybody can listen to that now. So did you? How was it received by people? Have people received it well? Have they talked about kind of maybe similar experiences they've had in their relationships?
There's a lot of people that, like, when I put that out, they were like, oh, because as you said, all people know me for officially would be the Feel Our Rights, the Praise, the Man Cubs, you know what I'm saying? Whereas if they went through my hard drive, I have a lot more songs like Fairy Tales than I would Man Cub, you know what I'm saying? Or Pray, you know what I mean? Where they're just intimate, me just getting the pain out or whatever. So I think, do you know what it is, man? And I think it's especially with Irish people, like, it's been, sorry to answer your question, it's been received. Like, I can't put it into words, man. You know what I mean? Like, the way that was received, I couldn't, like, that thing got, like, and I'm not the one to care about views, especially on a track like that. I don't care about numbers or anything like that. But it was just good to see, because I looked and I put it out, and then the next day I looked and it was like 1,500 views in like 24 hours, and I was like, whoa, that's nuts. Like, on a track like that, which is, as you said, it's risky enough to do something like that. You know what I mean? As I said, if it wasn't for Rocky, I wouldn't have put it out. He talked me into it. He's like, I'm telling you. He was like, this thing is better than everything you've been making for that self-titled album. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's a big statement from him. Like, you know what I mean? So we put that in.
That leads us then nicely into your relationship with Rocky. Then you've kind of been talking about it in bits and pieces over the last few minutes. But so why do you think yourself and Bitter Rock, for anybody that doesn't know him, Paul or Richie's his real name, isn't it?
Richie, yeah.
Richie, yeah, or Bitter Rock is his artist name. So, why do you think you two are working so well together and having such a successful output? Like the single just put out, the videos you just work on, they're all well received. They're all high in production value. So why do you think that chemistry with you guys is working so well? How, you and Rocky, how's that going so well?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. And it's one of them things that it could have, like, it happened so organically that I literally, if I tried to make it happen again, it wouldn't happen again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's one of them things. Like back when, as you said, it was in a group, Ace and EJ. He wanted us to shoot like a video, like a little freestyle thing for his website. He had at the time the Rock Collective, and after he was like, "Look, lads, so I want to produce an album for you." You know what I mean? And I was like, "Cool, let's do it." You know what I mean? It was like much, and he's like, "Oh no, free charge. Like I want to
be involved as artistically, rather than just
And then over those years, while me and him were working on the album, we became just so close. And it's mad to think, because my ma's house, where I grew up in my ma's estate, is literally, I'm not joking with you, Jerry, it's literally 11 doors around the corner from his ma's house, which is nuts. Like, we never met, like, you know what I'm saying?
World, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like, he grew up there, he knows all the boys. Like, when he found out where I was from, he was like, "Oh, do you know so and so?" "Yeah, I know him, Jerry." You know what I'm saying? Like, it was all that, like. So, and when I decided to go solo, Richie was like, "Look, we'll try to do something," and blah blah blah. But that fella, man, right now, him, Danielle, my fiance, and Rocky's family have just, throughout this lockdown, man, have just been my rock. Like, you know what I mean? Like, forget about music for a second. Those, like, in my personal life, Rocky's my family now. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was music that brought us together, but it's not necessarily everything that we have each other, you know what I mean? Like, we have a lot of personal,
just one part of the relationship now, in a way.
Man. And I think that's what you were saying there. I think I say that to say this, like, I think that feeds through almost with whatever we release, because it's so, like, it's nothing is forced, you know what I mean? Like they organic, know that that's exactly, that's him and that's him, and we just gel so well together, man. And we have something coming. I think it's next year or something, but I won't say anything about that. But
it's coming anyway.
It's coming. But no, man. But Rocky, man, he's. I couldn't have, like, I had people coming up to me when me and Rocky were working together, and they were saying to me, like, people in the Irish hip hop scene, they're like, "How did you get that cunt to work with any music?" And I was like, "I've been begging this fella for beats for like 3 years." They're saying to me, you know what I mean? And I'm like, he came to me, like, you know what I'm saying? It just happened so organically, man. I wish I had a big extravagant story to tell you, but it's just, man, he's from the same estate.
We just a natural friendship day one.
Man, like you and Linko, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird how you kind of just find these connections with people that you just like creating with, but I'm looking forward to what he's gonna put out now in the next few months or over the next year or so. But we've been talking about Bitter Rock, but there's obviously other artists on the scene in hip hop, and it's kind of important for hip hop artists kind of globally to kind of help each other out, but kind of build on each other's momentum, and, you know, doing features to build fan bases and cross fan bases. It can be a real communal feeling when you're in hip hop. But who would be some of the other artists, excluding Rocky, in Ireland, that you'd be listening to? Irish hip hop artists, who's on your radar at the moment?
Man, there's so many, because like right now, Irish hip hop has been accepted. I was literally only having this conversation earlier on with somebody. Irish hip hop has been accepted in a way that when we first came out, like, think about when we first came out, so you're back in the day where we were 17, and I had to give a whole spiel to the bouncer how I was on the bill. You have to let me in, like, you know what I mean? We sets in 10 minutes, like, you know what I mean? That like going from that to, like, people used to wince at it. Like, I'd be like, "What music do you make?" "Oh, rap." And like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? But now it's like, I was walking down the road the other day and I heard somebody bumping Dubzino, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, this is mad. Like, this is like it, like, and then I went, like, I always use this as an example, Jafaris's album launch. So I went to Jafaris's album launch in Button Factory, man, and I was like, what is going on here? Irish hip hop, like, I mean, this fella filled the Button Factory to the brim.
Impossible 10 years ago.
And it wasn't even it was his album launch. It wasn't even a show. You know what I mean? I was like, what is going on? Like, and then, man, a couple of, to answer your question, this was, I wanted to just show some love there, but to answer your question, obviously, I love everything that Kojak is doing. It's
Kojak,
outrageous. Outrageous.
Have you seen No Hands, actually?
I've seen No Hands, and it's ridiculous. Like,
ridiculous. No, he is. He's definitely up there as the kind of cream of the crop at the minute. Yeah,
man, he's something else. Just that whole, like, the whole Soft Boy as a creative collective is just, it's madness. Like, them boys, I love Kojak. I love what he's doing. I love who else am I bumping at the moment? Obviously Mango and Madman, man. You have to get
the lads.
Them boys, man. Jeez, I remember I was in the studio when Mango was recording Madman, and I was like, bro, this thing is gonna be outrageous. You know what I mean?
And it was.
Look what it did. You know what I'm saying? Look what it did. Like, the boys, that album, man, is just what they wanted to depict with that album is just pure and unapologetic Dublin. Like, you know what I mean? And I love that. Like, I love that so much. Their album, outrageous.
Casual Work, isn't that the name of the album?
Casual Work, that Casual Work album, man. From the skits, from the start to the finish, the thing is just a monster. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can tell
it's hard to believe.
You can tell they put a lot of time and effort into it.
Yeah, man, it's been a year since that. I was like, what? That's mad.
I think overall I think in the last year hasn't been great for output, obviously, considering COVID has slowed down a lot of artists being able to get into studios and shoot videos and do gigs and do interviews. But I think what has been put out, the scene is definitely, as you are saying, it's been more accepted across the board in terms of actual Irish people willing to listen to it, and then Irish media outlets willing to promote it. So I think it's in a healthy state with the hip hop scene, if you'd agree.
Phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. It's so many artists to name. God knows, Nilo, like everything that the Fusion Lab are doing is just, it's out. Like, it's
the production value has just come up tenfold over the past few years. I
remember when we used to record in Daryl's bedroom. Ace, that is, like, I remember we used to record in Daryl's bedroom and we mixed the thing ourselves. We didn't even know what a master was until like 5-6 years ago. I was like,
I'm the master.
It's, you know what I mean? I was like that's what they were saying. Like, I was only saying this recently as well. I was like, we used to record in that fella's wardrobe and just mix it and just put it out. Like, there's no mastering, there's none of this. So what you're saying, and note to what you're saying, is that the production value of everything is just, it's phenomenal to see, man. And Irish hip hop will get there. Like, I can feel it myself. You know what I mean? It's going to get there.
It's definitely making waves now. But so we're nearly finished up here, man. So just kind of, you touched on it again earlier on a little bit, but your plans for the future. So the rest of 2021 and then going into 2022, what's on the cards for Flynn Johnson? What can we expect?
And this will be the first time I'm actually saying this as well. I think people have a little bit of a feeling. Exclusive. I think people have a little bit of a feeling. But the album is coming this year. It's coming this year. Nice. Yeah, the album is coming out this year. It's not called Self-Titled. It's called something else. But we'll leave that till it comes out.
So that's the main aim then, kind of for the rest of the years, to get that album.
Yeah, man. The album, it's something that me and Rocky have literally only worked. I'd say it wasn't even intentional. Again, it was so organic. It wasn't intentional. We just had it. If we just kept working and something was happening, and I knew something was happening, and I was like, this is an album, bro. And he was like, no. He was like, it just the momentum was going, and it was so organic that it just happened. So the album's coming. I actually have a single. I'm not sure if the single will be out by the time this airs. If it is, I'll tell you.
You've a new single coming early April,
early April, So
I think this will go out a little bit before that, So well, do that, man. So you've a new single coming out early April, just after this interview airs. So hype that up, man. Tell us about that if you want.
Just after this one, Mass. I have a single called Mass coming out. We shot the video for it last Thursday. It's been mixed and mastered. I got the final master today, believe it or not.
Nice.
It's been mixed and mastered by the lads in the Fusion Lab. And we have this track coming out. It's something again that is it's not expected from what me and Rocky have been doing. You know what I mean? And the same with the album as well. But Mass as a single is something that is not really expected from what we normally put out. You know what I mean? And I think that's what me and Richie's thing is, man. Me and Rocky's forte is just always pushing the boundaries, but like as I say, in an organic way. I'm not doing it just to be different. Like it's who I am.
It
like,
just happened this way.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it's so organic and people can see that. And it's just, I have the new single coming out and I can't wait for everybody to hear it, man. Honestly, can't wait to see the video as well.
Well, yeah, you know, best of luck from yourself with that. And then before we're going to finish the interview now with your latest single, which is Fairy Tales. We're going to go to that music video now in a second. But before I let you go, so I have 5 questions here for you that are not music related. They're not music related at all. They're just to get to know you as a person a little bit more. It's nothing too major, don't worry. But question number 1, are you a cat or a dog person?
Dog person, 100%.
Dog person, 100%. Yeah. Fair enough. Then your favorite TV show can be current or past, whatever. What's your favorite TV show?
Oh, that's a tough one. Is this supposed to be quick fire? Like, am I supposed to be just
you can have a chat about it. Yeah, some people just fire off questions. Some kind of go in and tell us why. So whatever you feel like, man.
Favorite TV show it's a bit of a toy, man. I watched How to Get Away with Murder recently. I finished that.
Oh,
and it's great. Like, you need to watch that. It's phenomenal. That and Breaking Bad is top 2. I can't tell which order, but it's top 2. Yeah. If you want to talk about sitcoms, The Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory all day.
I'm watching it earlier on myself, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we're very similar tastes, man. Very similar tastes. Then this one it's simple, but I think it tells a lot about the person. Your favorite color?
Purple.
Any reason behind it?
Just like no, not really, bro. Just purple, yeah.
And then this one, you're either into them or not. Your favorite superhero?
See, I'm not a big superhero, man. Do you know what? I'll pick this fella because he's here. I have like a little Batman here.
The Dark Knight. I respect that. That.
But my favorite superhero would have to be one of these lads here.
Who's this?
It's Biggie. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
No, but I'm not. She's mad into super. She loves them. Danielle loves them, but I just can't get into them.
Yeah,
we'll go with Dark Knight.
I've got into them more and more since we had the little fella just sitting there watching Avengers all day. So I like that, lad. So we'll take Batman. Right?
Batman.
And then the final one, this is a bit of a curveball, right? So you're stranded on a desert island with one Simpsons character. Who would you want to be stranded with?
Mo.
The Sizzlack fella.
The Sizzlack fella, yeah. I think it'd be great crack.
I think so as well, man. Yeah, I think you keep you entertained until the ship came to pick you up. Yeah. So that was just a bit to get people to know you a little bit more, your own personality and that. But as I said, that's the interview, man. So again, thanks for taking the time and sitting down with us. So we're going to jump into your latest single, which is Fairy Tales now. And then we'll keep an eye out for the new single, Mass, which will be out in early April. So, thanks again, bro, and best of luck with everything in the future.
Thanks a million, Ger. I appreciate you, man. You're always putting on, so big love, man.
Nice one, man.
I don't know, bro. I don't know what to do. I don't know where my head's at. What do you do from here? Like, you know what I mean?
Just need to ring her, bro. I mean, there's no point in you sitting here pointing her out to me, do you know what I mean? Ring her. Look, man, you love each other. Put that shit behind you, man. Be the bigger person, just ring her. Ring her. You're just wrecking your own head. And mine. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to know. Ain't my business, man. Sort it out.
No.
Ring her, bro. Look, do you want something here?
No, man.
You sure?
Yeah, no, sure.
Little Coke or something? Back down a minute, alright? Ring her.
I know you're not gonna hear it, but every word is true. Upbringing, it was me and Pops and just women. Son boy, a bunch of good-spirited tough figures. Worshipped every piece of dirt, each one in their foot's hitting. I was one of the lucky children with a couple of mothers, a dozen sisters. They taught me unforgiving love and the hub that pumps blood from your middle is the only instrument you don't strum for the fun of a rhythm. Then I learned the word board in school where 13 I had my first kiss under the bridge past the church hill. She lit me for a desire and my lungs filled with sulphur when it burned quick and I couldn't bear it. I knew if someone different took me position I would have done prison. Security missing. Hurt wrist from lugging rubble at your front window, wondering if the double glaze are coming straight. You see me fucking pain, but the love dulled as quick as I bulled dimmed in the burgundy corner short shit. Look for comfort in my brothers, they just shrugged and giggled. Too young to be fully committed to one person. Fuck bitches, cut strings, come distant. The best way to get over something is to get under in it. I did that for a good year, wasn't a good year. Faced my worst fear every time I looked in the mirror. Every time. Caught the fuckboy disease, yeah, shifter. And when we spoke, I'd fill it with muck garden, how it tires me. It's not a lie, I want a crossbar breaking her back in. Then the cycle repeats, at the tiniest violin screech. For the young, wild and free, I dried his cheeks. I want the sun, skies and seas and all the shite between, just to find the final piece of the life I dreamed. This diary bleeds from ball points that lean so hard on every swipe and sweep of the lines I scream that quietly reside in me. But then I met you. Thank God that I met you. Special. Thank God that he sent you. Now I know about atheists, but I may have found faith in it. Cause when this wavy ship capsized, you got the sail on the safety net. You're the cause and the rescue. First encounter there was something about you. One of one. Courage, power, white short. Tucked every corpse down the dance floor. More the tummy vision tunnel sat down, dug under the surface. Cause I wondered if a heart was boundless. What's your favourite colour? Purple. How's it? I was lucky to find someone the dust of the lust of hound. Cool as milk till it turned it sour. I'm a dickhead. A dickhead. In every sense of the word. And I don't know if you know, but I fell for you first. Me and you managed to develop a world-eccentric shell. They never could crush a story that they never read in the books. And when it's tethered and worn, the thread is torn. We didn't know whether the storm or just weather the storm. And I talk the loudest with nothing to say. And you walk around with this look in your face, like even though you put it up in your ways, there's nothing you change. And even though there's unsung pain to you, it's wonderful pain. Jump in front of a bullet if I was the one in their aim. Follow me into depths of the jungle, hungry and drained, just to tell me you love me when I should have been the one to take the love to the grave. But I couldn't, it's shame. Shame. Just another case of seeing the world when it's no longer yours to display. I remember we planned on running away to the tops of the mountains, Canadian sunborn in our pale suffering face. Cause you know we were suffering, babe. And I get frustrated when you complain about your stomach shape. Cause your structure is cut from the look of saints. Every curve and grace is sculpted by the fucking angels. You just huff and say I'm telling white lies. Well, if I had 3 wishes which pennies could buy time, I wish the wedding dress that you said and get was heading down my aisle. I wish you could see yourself in my eyes. Flashbacks to the car crash. I hate to bring it up, but the guilt is stamped in me head. Blasting Harry Lennox, then we started arguing bang. Paramedics and the scream still echoes and it's harshly deafening. Thankfully marched without a scratch. Me heart was scarred cause I almost parted ways with me right arm by death. And I wouldn't forgive myself if your last breath was an angry yell at this narcissist player, a mess, antagonist, manipulator at best. Romantic candle lit and he burn you out until the flame is dead. And these values are carved into me, but I know that she's shaking her head. Cause I'll always love you. And I promised this wouldn't be just another message to say. Only proving how selfish I am if this magical story is kept to myself. Fairy tale. God is gonna be love.